May we call in Dr. Joel M. Torres. Dr. Torres is a graduate of Applied Linguistics at De La Salle University. Dr. Torres, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me loud and clear on your ends? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon. So I'm here to discuss about something that is also equally important as regards to your requirement for your graduation. This is actually included in, this will actually cover the action research which was previously discussed by Dr. Delia and Dr. Santos. So this is the narrative report. So I'll be giving you some guidelines, and how is it developed, the contents of it, the mechanics and organization of coming up with a narrative report that we will be truly proud of, because a narrative report is something that will be your document throughout, because the moment you graduate, this will be given to the college, and your predecessors will be looking at it, and they'll be seeing what had transpired in your internship program. So it's a document capturing all those wonderful, challenging, and a bit saddening experiences. But of course, the time in which you became champions in your student teaching will also be captured by that particular narrative report. So this is something that you really have to prepare for, so that at the end, you'll come up with a masterpiece, really, and something you, as I mentioned earlier, you will be proud of. So for the overview of the lecture, I'll be discussing the parts of the narrative report. Then I'll be going to how we're going to organize each of the parts. So I'll be giving some tips and what are those common errors that we are to encounter while we are writing that. And I'll give you also some basic review on the mechanics of writing with focus on the narrative report. So here are the parts of your narrative report. So we have the preliminaries, the introduction, the summary of experiences, and the appendices. If you will see, these are just 4 key parts, but as you go along each of these parts, you will notice that each of these parts will offer a bit of complexities and a bit of challenge in a way if you did not prepare it earlier. So that's why even in our respective classes, I think we keep on telling you that for you to be able to come up with your narrative report, you should be keeping a diary with you, because our something that we did not write could be easily forgotten. So whatever we have written, then there's an easy way for us to really recall it and just put it on our narrative report. So I hope all of you keep diaries of your experiences, although this would be virtually, but all those experiences could be written down and something that you could just get the moment you dwell into actual writing. So you will see here, preliminaries. I think you will be given templates on how you're going to accomplish the preliminaries. This include the title page, the acknowledgements. You also have the table of contents and the like. And this would be a bit easier because there's a template for this. Then we have the introduction. Later on, I'll show to you how an introduction should be written. How are you going to merge the informations that you have lifted from your reading materials, and how you're going to merge it with your interpretation and your personal insights along the interplay of these, the facts that you got from the books and your personal interpretation into it, so you come up with a good introduction. Then there's this particular portion, the third one, which is on the summary of experiences. This is something that is really challenging because it has several subcomponents, like your first day in orientation, your meeting with the principal, meeting with the department head, when you were assigned to your cooperating teacher, meeting with them, your first virtual teaching, your initial demo, final demo, and also the insights gate. through all these experiences that you have went through. And the last is the appendices. So a student teacher should be able to, should have this particular attitude of being a good in terms of keeping documents, because all these documents could also be appended in your narrative report. So let's go into the details of the parts of the narrative report. So the first one is the introduction. So here you talk about the student internship program. And what should be discussed here? You have the feature and, of course, the importance of the program. So basically, whenever we write an introduction, we always have that particular dilemma because, as we say, it's really hard to start, really. And I know in all the endeavors in which we engage ourselves into, the beginnings are always hard, isn't it? But the moment you have started crafting and tailoring, weaving those words, then you get to realize that little by little, you get to accomplish something. And that's why for the introduction, especially on the feature and importance of the program, I suggest you do a lot of readings as regards the background of the internship program. What is it all about? Why is there a need for this? Why pre-service teachers need to undergo the internship program? What are the features of it and the like? So all of this can be accessible, and especially nowadays in which information is just right in our fingertips, we can just click something, but make sure that whatever information that we get are those that are really related to the program we're went into. I got a chance of reading something that they talk about internship program, but this is on medicine, and yet they put it on the narrative report for education. What I'm trying to say is that information is free, information is widely available, and it's up to us on how are we going to filter the information that are presented to us. So we just have to be very mindful and be very critical on all those information that we get on the net. Okay, so it's important in this part that you discuss that internship program is the culmination of all the experiences that you have had as a pre-service teacher. So how will this be a culmination of all those activities? It's actually the application of all those things that you have learned in your prior courses, be general or be professional education courses, and how all this would be related to the internship program. Okay, so that's something that you could also discuss here. So here's a sample of an introduction, but this is a very short introduction, really. But I'm not telling that this is not the one that you're going to do, but this is just like a basis for you that you're gonna be, where you're gonna serve as your idea on how this section is actually framed or organized. So you get to say the subject SED 4302 is the last subject taken by any student taking the course Bachelor of Secondary Education. It is commonly termed as teaching internship, but in the past we used to call this as student teaching, or past track pa, mas malayo pa, or mas luma pa, it was used to be practice teaching, but now it has developed from practice teaching. We call it student teaching, and now I think we call it teaching internship. It is the total immersion of a prospective teacher in the real life of becoming a professional teacher. So in here, you're going to experience all those actual things that actual undertakings that a teacher has. We'll be able to experience the multifaceted roles, as we say, that a teacher has on his or her shoulders. So what else? Another sample is this one. Is student teaching or teaching internship. Actually, in your narrative report, you could use either of these terms, but you just have to be consistent. if it's either you use student teaching or you use teaching internship. But I think I'm gonna ask now our chair, Dr. Estrella, what term should we be using now because of the change of the term used in the course.
Yeah,
So,
because we are
yeah.
now in because we are now in the new curriculum, I suggest that we stick with teaching internship.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Estrella. So
Yeah.
there you have it. It should be teaching internship nowadays. So see the evolution, no? So teaching internship, you're gonna change it. This teaching internship is the culminating field of experience of the teacher education program. It is the most significant phase of the student certification program. It also represents the bridge between professional preparation and professional practice. By definition, student teaching is a period, or teaching internship is a period of guided teaching when the teacher candidate takes increasing responsibility for leading the school experiences of a group of learners over a period of consecutive weeks. The major goal of student teaching is to provide an opportunity for the student learner to make practical applications of knowledge, learning, principles, and techniques of teaching. So you may also want this to become personal in such a way that you have to really trace how this program is being implemented in the College of Education. So that's also something that you could include in your introduction. Then you may also compare it to what? Compare it to a thing, or compare it to a phase in your life. So it also your creativity also matters in this part. Where you're going to relate student teaching. I remember when I wrote my narrative report, I used a lot of metaphors to describe and to come up with how this is related to something. Say, for example, and I would recall that Dr. Estrella's dissertation has to do with the metaphors that she found on the narrative report of student teachers for how many consecutive years? I think for 5 consecutive years, that she'll look into the different narrative reports and she'll look at how metaphors were used in the different parts of the narrative report. So this is also something that is personal, because you get to identify where do you relate student in teaching internship. If you are to ask where I'm going to relate it, or where is it similar, or where could I actually see the how is it related to the things that is happening in real life? So what could that be? So something like that. So you could also be creative in that manner. What else? You could also say, you could also put your personal insights for the introduction. Then just make sure that whenever you do this, you apply the principles of writing. That it's either you use the funnel from the general to the specific one, or you first come up with examples and then you come with a more general concept about this one. So that's how introduction. So it's still in the introduction. Another component of this has to do with the cooperating school. Here, you're going to provide us with the historical background of the school. This is easy, especially if the school has been a cooperating school of the college for quite some time, because information are widely available. But we have to be very cautious also in this part, because here I notice in our experience of editing narrative report that sometimes they just copy. They just repeat what the previous student teacher or intern presented in his or her narrative report without actually updating them. See? So it's okay, because this is history and this is a common knowledge or common document per se. But there are instances that you also have to read it and you have to update them. Say, for example, because they believe this is a common document and they would not be reading the latter part of it, and the tendency is that they also be copying the same, but it's no longer applicable in that particular year, because information and achievements and the profile of a school definitely vary in that particular year. So they change. There are those information that are not constant. So you have to really look into them. So in here, you have to look at the establishment of the school, the administrators then and now. Sometimes they just stop in a certain period without actually trying to really capture all those who have become administrators of this particular school or the cooperating school. Then, of course, common would be the mission, the vision, and core values. Then you go to the current profile. This is what I was telling earlier that you really have to update this from time to time. Say, for example, what includes the profile. Here we have school category, we have the programs offered, the number of departments, the teachers, the number of teachers, and of course their ranks from teacher 1 to 3. Then you go to head teacher, to master teacher, to principal. So you also have to capture that. The number of enrollees for that particular school year, referring to the school year when you have your internship. And of course, their achievements, salient achievements, the milestones, the best practices of that school could also be captured, especially now during the pandemic, in which I know most of the cooperating schools have been documenting all their best practices. And that's also something that you might want to feature. So remember that when you are writing about the cooperating school, it's something that you are also trying to inform others, your fellow student teachers or student interns who were not deployed in that school, trying to inform them of this is where I had my teaching internship. This is how this is how I would want you to meet, something like that. I would want you to meet or I want you to encounter my cooperating school. So as much as possible, try to put best information, put those achievements, and also as I said earlier, the milestones of this school should also be captured here. So I believe you can do this by trying to ask your cooperating teacher or the head of the school or do some research. But the thing is, there are instances that most schools do not put their profile or their achievements in their website or some even in their Facebook page. So you really have to ask them. You really have to search for those information at this point. Okay, so siguro at this early, you have to really do some interview on your cooperating teacher on what do they know about your cooperating school. Or if you are, you could also ask your team leader, but of course, you do not merely depend on what your team leader will be giving to you, because sometimes we all know that the team leaders are really occupied with trying to relay information to other student interns. But we have to also really take extra effort on this part. Next is the principal. This is still part of the introduction. The principal. You may want to begin with the overview of the principal's roles. Okay? So I remember during the time I wrote my narrative report, I compared the principal to the rudder of the ship, like they set the direction. Okay? The principal is very crucial in any school because they are the ones who set the directions, who set the goals, and who try to, after setting these goals, they are the ones in charge for realizing these goals really. So you might want to begin this section with what are their principles, what are expected of them, and what are the roles that they must have to accomplish. So you may want to begin with that. Then you may also want to talk about the educational attainment of the principal, including the institutions where the degrees were obtained. One common errors that
Pfizer.
Ma'am Emily?
Nawala si Sir
Nawala
Joel.
po si Sir Joel. Baka nawalan po ulit ng
Kuryente.
kuryente. Pasensya na po. Medyo nagkakaroon tayo sa
Meron kasing rotating
rotation.
brownout sa lahat ng mga areas.
So, pahintay lang po ulit. Sa mga nanalo po pala kanina, pwedeng pa-PM na lang po sa akin yung ano. May chat po ako sa inyo. Direct message po yun. Pa-PM na lang po. Thank you po. Hintayin lang po natin si Sir Joel po. Then yung kung meron pong mga tanong kanina about po sa action research, pwede nyo na pong itanong ngayon habang hinihintay po natin si Sir Joel po. Okay lang po ba yun, Ma'am Emily?
Yes, please. Oo, tama. Thank you, Ma'am Reb. Yes, yung mga gustong magtanong about action research, pwede nang magtanong while waiting for Doc Joel to be reconnected again with in our meeting room.
Ma'am Milet, Ma'am Rev.
Yes po.
Yes, Ma'am Miles.
May nag-PM sa akin na nahihiya daw magtanong. Paano daw yung groupings ng action research? Kasi when we did the orientation during the send-off, we announced that it would be in a small group. So, hindi siya individual. Sabi ko sa kanila, it would be a maximum of 4. Pwede na siguro yun. Kasi if they will be on different level, and categorically they are in the same discipline, pwede na siguro isang grade 7, 8, 9, 10. O kaya naman, there will be 4 in each level. So, 4 silang naka-assign sa grade 7. Pwede ng small group, ma'am, yun, ano?
Yes, ma'am. Pwede na, ma'am. At saka maganda yung group of 4 dun sa present ni Doc Emil na study niya about pair group at saka yung small group na effective ay yung 4 members in one group ay effective daw yung grouping na yun. So, yes ma'am, pwede yun, yung 4 groups. 4 persons in one group.
Maximum yun, maximum.
Opo. Yes ma'am, Miles, maximum na yun.
Hello, Ma'am Myla. Meron pong question, may nag-send po sa akin ng title about sa action research po. Nasa chat group po. Pwede na daw po ba tong topic niya or...
Ito ba yun? Impacts of recorded step-by-step discussion strategy with techniques and application of Vedic mathematics on the numeracy level of when you say impact, siguro i-ano na lang natin yun, i-singular na lang natin, the impact, recorded step-by-step discussion strategy,
Bali yan na rin daw po kasi yung intervention po nila, yung step-by-step discussion.
Oo, but how are you going to validate the result? How would you know the impact? Anong magiging instrument natin? Magiging data natin dito?
Nasa kasi siya nasa YouTube po siya, hindi po siya makapasok sa Zoom dahil di daw po kaya ng data, kaya binato lang po sa akin yung title po niya kung ano daw po yung suggestion po. Makikinig na lang daw po from BSED 4-2 po siya.
Oo, mga math major ito. This is a good topic actually, pero i-singular na lang natin yung impact because we're talking about impact in general. So collective, lang yun, a collective principle. So we would, the objective primarily of this title is to see the effect of the step-by-step discussion strategy, for the level of numeracy in grade 7. Malawak yung level ng numeracy ng grade 7. So if you would like to have it in a 1-month observation, you just siguro simplify it. Just take a very specific numeracy skill sa grade 7 that has to do with the Vedic. Wag malawak yung numeracy . Yun, that's one suggestion.
Suggestion po. Thank you po, ma'am. Then may another question pa po from Ma'am Romeline. Magandang hapon po. Ang magiging research advisor po ba namin ay ang critic po o ang aming CPO, cooperating teacher po? Salamat po.
Mamilet? O ako na?
Sige, Ma'am Miles, go ahead.
Well, your cooperating teachers will be your co-author of the study kasi it's still your study. Practically, it's your own study. So, they will just be contributing to your study. Co-author lang sila. Your advisor will be your supervisors pa rin. Technically, you will be submitting the action research to your supervisor. It would be your supervisor who would be assessing and validating your action research. But your cooperating teachers will be very, very helpful in developing a very good action research in a way.
Thank you po, ma'am. Meron pa po from Ken po, parental involvement in the modular distance learning challenges and opportunities among the parents of Muñoz National High School Annex learners from DikaEd po. Yun naman daw po yung kanyang topic na.
Ito yung na-discuss ata ito kanina, napahapyawan ni Sir Virgin. So, we could have a very good impression siguro from Dr. Delia.
Isa pa po from 4-6 kay Sir Christian.
Delia, baka may siya, impression din dun sa na yun. Yung sa title ni Ken. Ano pa si Dr. Delia?
Parang na-disconnect siya, ma'am, kanina eh.
Baka wala. O, sige.
Si ma'am.
So, before, parental involvement in the modular distance learning challenges, opportunities among parents. Parental involvement is a general term. This specific. Anong involvement? Do they have to deal with technology? Or will it just be the resources ba? Or will it be more of the emotional and the psychological well-being of the students? Or academic ba? So we have to consider also the demographic characteristics of the parents so that we would validate what kind of involvement are we trying to look at in dealing with the modular learning of their children. Medyo specific pa natin siya. Remember, you're just going to do this for one month. Okay? Pag gusto natin ng medyo malaki-laking project, that would be probably after na lang. But at the moment, I suggest you limit and you deal with a very specific aspect of the action research. But that's a good title actually. Ang gagaling, nakaka-come up na tayo ng mga ganyang titles pala. Sige, Ma'am Red.
Nawala ka pa lang po.
Ito, Ma'am Red, pinabasa ko from Christian Zambrano. Maaari po bang humingi ng comment para sa proposed title? ESP yun, Tapos yung ESP. Special. Uy, ang ganda. That's catchy. Upholding learners' interest in ESP subject through gamified assessment. Hindi siguro upholding, Christian, but that's a very good term. And that's very, very professional. Pero wag mo na sigurong upholding. We'll just to maintain the interest. We're trying to maintain the interest. So, mag-focus tayo how we are, how we would be maintaining the interest of the students through gamified assessment. I think there are various types of gamified assessment. Sa siguro yon, paki-identify which of those gamified assessment lang ang gagamitin natin para hindi tayo masyadong ma-overwhelm.
Thank you po, Ma'am Myla. Follow-up question po kay Ma'am Romeline. Sino po ang mag-a-approve ng research title namin? Ang advisor po ba o ang cooperating teacher po?
Dadaan pa rin sa cooperating teacher. The cooperating teacher will initially have the direction and the approval of your action research. But kasi silang nakakaalam kung ano talaga nangyayari dyan sa loob. Your supervisors, however, will be more of the assessment of the action research. But it would be also very helpful if you would ask suggestions from your cooperating teachers and also from your supervisors.
Thank you po, ma'am. From BTL Ed 1-1, 4-1, good afternoon po, in Munoz Annex. We are done in research title and research proposal po. Naghihintay na lang po kami ng format and matrix from supervisors.
The format was presented by Dr. Delia a while ago. There are also some copies of that in the DepEd order. So that would be a very good reference also. Nakapag-gather na kayo ng data, that's good.
Then, ito daw po ang kanilang title, ma'am. Skills and Development and Learning Competencies of the TLE Students of Munoz National High School Annex during the pandemic, Basis for Development Program.
Ano yung achievement, performance? Let me have the first part of the title, please. Hindi ko na-catch yun, Ma'am Rev.
Skills and Development and Learning Competencies of TLE Students of Munoz National Annex during the pandemic, Basis for a Development Program.
Learning competencies is a very general term, like academic performance. So, anong learning competency ang focus natin?
Ayun, so dapat specific.
Pero pwede na rin title yan. Yeah, it could be a title later on sa discussion na lang siguro. Within the discussion of the action research, part of the methodology sa limitation and delimitation, doon na lang natin specify what are we focusing on.
Thank you po, ma'am. Andyan na po
thank you. Thank you, Doc Myla. Ma'am Rev, nandyan na si Doc Joel. Nag-data lang daw siya. Thank you, Ma'am Myla, for
yes, ma'am,
patiently assisting our students in their titles. Yung ibang mga titles, siguro mga anak, you can start. Kung may mga title na kayo naisip, pwede nyo nang ibigay sa mga supervisor nyo so that they could also comment dun sa mga title na nagawa na ninyo. Okay. Doc Joel, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I think I know the party who are using Converge are also experiencing similar problem. I think I've been experiencing this since 1 o'clock. Are you also experiencing the same? Will you please type 1 is the same, or it's only for me?
Yes, sir. Na-experience din po namin.
Hello?
Hello
yes,
po.
Sir, the same po.
Oo. Meron tayong rotational brownout.
Can you please type 1 in your chat box if you also experience internet? Yeah. For Converge, no? Okay. So anyway, wag kang mag-report. Okay. So going back. Okay. Clear pa naman po. Am I still clear po on your end?
Apo, Doc.
yes po.
Anyway. Okay, hello. Okay, so
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, parang hindi po kaya nung mag-share screen ni Sir Joel po, okay lang po kaya i-send sa akin yung PowerPoint po niya tapos
Oo, siguro. Kasi kung
Ganun.
data lang, baka nga hindi kayanin mag-share
para
screen.
mag-ano na lang po.
Mm-mm.
Sige po. Hello po. Okay lang po ulit, ma'am. I-ano ko po yung question kanina dito. Abang hinihintay ko po yung...
Oo, yes, please. Thank you.
Ma'am Rev?
Yes po, ma'am. Sorry po, minute ako.
Okay lang. May question yung mga science dito, science
Opo.
major. Oo, sabi nila, ma'am, 6 members lang daw sila. Kung mag-aapat yung isa, 2 na lang. Maghati na lang kayo, 3-3. So you will have 2 groups. 2 groups with 3 members.
Ma'am, kami po 5. Hindi rin po ba pwedeng sama na po yung isa? Or we need to group ourselves in 3 or 2?
Mamilet.
Ay, na-miss ko yung tanong. Na-miss ko. Tinasagot ko si Joel at lalabas daw siya ng bahay para mag-internet.
Ay, sorry.
Sinasagot ko siya. Ano na nga yung tanong, anak? Ano?
5 daw sila, ma'am.
5 po kami. And pwede po bang isang group na po kami or we need to group ourselves in 2 and 3 members? Thank you po.
Hello? 5 kayo sa buong major, sa naka-deploy sa isang school.
Ay, hindi po ma'am. Sa ano po namin. Major po.
Sa buong major na yon, parang maganda rin mag-split para nun meron namang comparison yung study.
Okay po ma'am. Thank you po.
Hello po, ma'am. Hello po, Doc Joel. Ma'am Emily, dito po ba nag-stop si sir?
Diyan, oo.
Thank you po.
Ay, tika. Yung susunod yatang slide dyan. Ayan, principal. Pwede mo nang skipan siguro itong principal. Na-discuss na niya to para umabot yung data niya. Sige pa. Ayan, summary of experiences.
Pasensya na po. Medyo
Tatawagan ko lang siya saglit kung ano ang pasya niya, kung okay na pwede naman na nating makita ito yung mga ile-lecture niya. So from here siguro kung hindi na talaga siya makakonect, try ko na lang na i-discuss pag hindi na siya nakakonect. Wait lang, tatawagan ko lang siya.
Sige po.
Emily, andito na po ako, kaya lang natatakot po ako. Baka mawala ako.
Ayan, okay. Sige, go.
Natatakot po ako, mawala po uli ako
Sige, go. Sige, friend.
Naman po. Mambalik tayo dun sa ano. Okay na tayo dun sa ano. Yan na ba tayo? Writing the summary.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is important for you to really capture what happened during your first day and your orientation. Though it's virtual, it's important that you have to keep a diary with you. And say, for example, you may also talk in that time. Were you excited about your actual teaching internship, about your deployment? Then we had orientation by your respective how did it go? What had transpired during the orientation? So if you are really that keen on all those information that are being given to you, you may also want to capture that in your narrative reports that were given to you during how it would be different from the usual or from the prior COVID student teaching, all those things. You may also want to document it here because basically you are the second batch to have your student internship during the pandemic. So you may want also to put it in your first day in orientation. What were discussed to you by the school nurse, the school principal, the department heads. Then you also have your first day with your cooperating teacher or even with the principal. Did you have a separate orientation with the principal? If you had, then what did the principal tell you? What did she or he remind you of, especially in the conduct of virtual blended classes? So those are the things that you may also want to capture here. Then you also have here working and dealing with the cooperating teacher. So you want to know, earlier you discussed about your cooperating teacher, her professional background, her career, the subjects she teaches, and the like. You may also want to tell here the kind of professional relationship that you have with the cooperating teacher. What were those important? What were the instructions given to you as regards classroom management, as regards classroom assessment, especially now it's pandemic? What did he or she remind you of to ensure that assessment would be that authentic, and the kind of assessment that you will give to your learners are the ones that could really capture the ability of your student. Strategies, teaching strategies that were taught to you by your cooperating teachers. So everything. So beyond the professional, what else? Were there instances that were you able also to, sometimes beyond the professional boundaries, you also had the chance to talk about personal lives? Pero yung mga yung mga pwede lang sa narrative, ang i-share nyo. Wag naman yung lahat naman na. Pero the good thing here is that the kind of interaction, it's the kind of interaction that you have had with your cooperating teacher, though it's virtual, right? Because it's also interesting to document with the kind of mode that we have now, how do cooperating teachers and the student interns interact with each other? And what were the usual topics that they talk about? Then we also have the working and dealing with the students. It's also important that you talk about the kind of students you have. Although you just see them virtually, how are you going to assess them virtually? And do you find them fun to be with? Do you find them challenging? And do you find it do you find it challenging to teach them? Or are there what is the composition of the students? Are they heterogeneous? Okay, are they excited about, what are the things that excite them in a lesson? Say, for example, if you're teaching this particular subject, especially if you handle this subject and incorporate these topics in that particular lesson, does that excite them? Something like that. So you try to come up with a profile of who your students are. Say, for example, if you are teaching different sections, so how would you compare your interaction with them? So those are the things that might be put here. You may also want to include here instances in which you were able to help the student in his professional or in his classroom concerns, something like that. Oh, so okay, a participant mentioned students are annoying online, so bullying online is real, diba? Parang ganon. So how will you feel? How do you say that there really is bullying online? So something like that. So as a teacher, I feel I was bullied during those times. And you narrate that because, again, I tell you, these are interesting, forward-looking anecdotes that happen inside the classroom simply because these are fresh experiences. So we want to really know how are these experiences affecting the student interns, so that eventually, as you reflect, as we, the readers, reflect on this, we might come up with some guidelines as well on our end. So do you find the students, despite of the challenges that they come across with the new normal, do you find them still motivated to learn, or were there instances that you think that they're no longer motivated, and like you, do you also have those concerns with regard to the flexible learning modality that the school is implementing? Then we also have working and dealing with other student teachers. How does collaboration push through, or how do you go with collaboration in the time of pandemic? In the past, right, you would have meeting from time to time, personal meeting after class. That was in the face-to-face. But how does interaction among student teachers happen? So we are also interested to know all these things. So how did you divide yourselves on the different tasks that are assigned to you? You were also able to come up with a digital or virtual programs that you were the ones who spearheaded as student teachers? So what are those usual interactions that you have as a student teachers, diba? Ito yung importante doon. Do you also do Google Meet from time to time? Do you also share your experiences with your fellow interns? Were there instances that, you get to talk to them and you say, bakit naman ganito yung naranasan ko sa mga estudyanteng yon? Ganon din ba sila sa'yo? Then you get to compare notes, di ba? I introduced this to them and they seem not interested about it. But I heard when you talk this topic to them, or when you opened up this topic to them, they were quite interested. So what went wrong on my end? So those are the usual things that we get to ask and we get to share on the levels among you as student interns. What are those topics? Or sometimes you also talk to each other when it comes to what are the best visuals, PowerPoint presentations, or multimedia tools, the OBE, the software that you could use, so that you will ensure that the lesson will be interactive. Then we also have the working and dealing with other school personnel in the community. But this is quite, I don't know if can still happen. Kasi in the past, diba, kami, in our narrative report, we talk about dealing with the security guard, dealing with the people in the canteen, dealing with the administrative aide, and the like. So now, other than your cooperating teacher, other than the school, other than the department head, then the administrator and the students, who else do you interact with? Or perhaps the parents, right? The parents would be communicating with you from time to time, and they will monitor the status of their children. So you try to capture all those wonderful stories that you have during the teaching internship. Then you also have the first classroom teaching experience, which is the virtual. Okay, how was that? For me, in my first experience as a virtual speaker, it's something that you are not used to, and it's really hard. It's really a challenge on our part to be discussing, especially if you don't see audience, if you don't see your listeners. I just see your pictures. And behind that picture, I don't know what's going on, right? So unlike in the face-to-face that you get to see the reaction of your students, you get to see them tilt their head and they have to blink their eyes, or they feel sleepy, or they feel disinterested about the topic. But now you are clueless. You're basically clueless. So I think you might also have the same experience. First classroom teaching experience virtually. How was it? How did you cope with the fact that you don't see them? Or I don't know if you asked them to open their videos. But of course, the reality in our country is that our bandwidth is not that large. And if we open our cameras all together, then that might actually affect the signal, isn't it? So the thing is, how did you cope with the challenge of the teaching virtually, especially if you are not yet accustomed to the face-to-face? That here you are now a virtual teacher. So how was it? So how did you prepare for that? So those are the things that you might want to include here. Then we go to the initial demonstration teaching. Okay. By the way, do we already have a schedule for initial demonstration teaching? Yes, you will give your schedule. So Dr. Emily, do we already have the schedule for initial demo?
Mamayla?
We have the calendar of activities, but
Okay.
the dates, sir, are very flexible because we have to wait for the schedules. We have also to adapt to the schedule of the cooperating schools.
Yes,
So tentatively, it was scheduled second week of October ata or first week, but it will depend on the cooperating schools. Sige, sir.
Mamayla? Mamayla? Yeah.
Yes, Doc.
Is it okay? Kasi dun sa mga handle ko, in-announce ko na sa kanila that if they are ready, they can message me anytime para pwede na akong pumasok. Para hindi magpatong-patong yung schedule, if that would be all right.
Yeah, because we have a lot of interns assigned to us. That would be a good action siguro. Basta, as far as the cooperating schools are concerned, they asked me to check their schedules also in regards to our demonstration teachings para alam din daw nila.
Okay, ma'am po.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you po.
Okay. Thank you, Doc Mylan, Dr. Estrella. Now, stop talking about first classroom teaching, initial demo teaching, right? So, again, most of the student interns in the past would tell how did they prepare, how was their night prior to their initial demo teaching, what were their feelings, what were their thoughts, what were those thoughts going on during the night prior to initial demo teaching, and how did they prepare? How did their cooperating teacher assist them? Were they given additional reading material? So all of those things before and during the demo teaching. Were there technical glitches? Okay. Were there internet connectivity problems in your respective areas? Right. Power interruption perhaps, or everything went on smoothly. So lucky you, right? So I remember during my initial demo teaching, I had a problem with regard to the use of the audiovisual room where I had my initial demo teaching, because all I knew then was the audiovisual room was available, and I asked all the teachers, and they said they were not having classes in the audiovisual room for 2:30 to 3:30. And my fault was I did not ask the school principal, who was the one in charge conducting her class in the audiovisual room. So I narrated that in my narrative report. So those are the things that you might want to include in your paper for the initial demo. Then after that, it's not only that, during the teaching, after the post-conference that you will have rather. So what did your cooperating teacher tell you? What were the observations? As well as the supervisor. So you may also want to include it there. I think those are the information that are somehow lacking in the previous narrative reports that we have checked. So this is something that you might want to add. So to really capture what transpired in your initial demo teaching virtually. Then you also have the final demo. So what was the topic? Was the feeling the same, or you will a bit more relaxed for the final demo because you already have the initial, which you call the practice, and then here comes the final demo teaching, and you get to say, oh, I'm more relaxed at this time because I'm done with the initial demo? Or was it opposite? You were relaxed in the initial and you are more tense in the final demo. So you might want to include that in your narrative report. What else? The actual demo teaching, what happened, were the students participative? Sometimes I also notice here that they put the reason for choosing that particular class as their demo class, right? Say, for example, you handle 4 sections, same subject, but you will choose this section over the 3, and you have your reason, right? Because you feel that they're more participative, and students here, I know that they will not fail me, especially this is a final demo. So you may also include it there. What was the topic? How was it? Okay. And of course, the post-conference is also important. Here, you get to tell them what happened. What happened in the post-con? Were the remarks or were the observations given to you during the initial demo no longer raised at this point, or the cooperating teacher no longer saw those observations in the initial demo, and they were no longer seen in the final demo, and that would be good. That means you have improved, and that means that you really have taken their comments seriously and tried to avoid them in your final demo teaching. Or were the comments the same? Okay, or did they say that you improve a lot in the final demo teaching? So those are the things that you might want to include for this one. And also the post-conference to be given by the supervisor. Then the last is the insights gained. So here, overall, that would be your personal reflection, the overall assessment of your performance during the student teaching program. That also tells about all of those realizations that you had all along. The lessons you've learned basically could also be reflected here. So this is something personal where you try to recall all the experiences and try to put it in here and come up with your personal insights, which is something that you will leave to future student interns, because as we say, we don't learn from our mistakes, rather we learn from the insights we get from our mistakes. So it's important that you have to provide them with wonderful insights so that all those errors or mistakes that you have encountered would be beneficial to them and something that they could reflect on and something that they might avoid too. Or you may also say here that you are thankful to all of those experiences, be it good or bad, be it challenging or rewarding, because all of these experiences tend to shape you and mold you to becoming an effective and efficient professional teacher. That's how you're gonna end this. So you are thankful to all those wonderful experiences that you have had. And next. Okay, so I think I will, narrative report, its mechanics and organization. I think I have to end here because these are like, I'll just do it rundown. Okay, very fast na lang. What to remember for the mechanics. First is use personal pronoun, use I and my cooperating teacher, because in the past we used to say the author and the cooperating teacher, but you will realize that as you go on with the parts of the narrative report, it becomes more complicated if you use the third person. So I suggest you use the first person, the personal pronoun I. Next is use active voice rather passive voice. So you would say, my cooperating teacher informed me of the lesson, of the first lesson, rather than you telling me, I was informed by my cooperating teacher about the first lesson. So use the active voice rather than the passive voice, because active voice is a bit, requires lesser number of words, and it's more vivid. And the doer there is highlighted. That's why you have to really use active rather than the passive voice. Instead of saying, the ball was kicked by the boy, you may say the boy kicked the ball. So it's shorter and the message is clearer and the doer is highlighted. Okay, so the same is true with your narrative report. You always have to use the active voice rather than the passive voice. Next is, you have to be accurate and concise. Okay, accurate as regards the numbers, accurate as regards the ranks, accurate as regard the activities, and concise. If you can say it in a shorter way possible, then do it. Instead of saying in the event that, you may just say if, due to the fact that, you may just say because. So those are examples. Be accurate and concise. Later we'll have examples of those things. Moving on. Language is formal in the narrative report. You avoid contracted words such as, here are some examples. You don't use the words such as, here are they. Okay, yeah, so the informal and the formal counterpart. So instead of saying tell, inform. Okay, instead of saying say hello to, give my regards to, say sorry, apologize. So the list is there. And another one is avoid also contracted forms of words such as, let's see. Okay, do not, instead of, don't use don't. Instead, you can use do not, could not, couldn't. Okay, so the ones in the blue, ayan, ito yung mga i-avoid natin. No, the ones in the blue, sa first line, ayan, i-avoid natin yan. We could just say do not instead of don't, could not instead of couldn't. He is used of, is preferred than his. We are than were. Okay, so avoid the contracted forms. What else? Spelling, spelling of words. Okay, so we have the British and the American. Let's see. When it comes to spelling the words, okay, color versus color. Remember the O-U-R, okay, the double L and the R-E. Okay, so color with the U-R versus color with an O. So the difference between this one is that with the O-U-R, this is the American and British, and the color with the C-O-L-O-R is the American English. So since the Philippine English, its parent English is the American English, we prescribe to the one with the O, one with the single L, and one with the E-R other than the R-E, okay? Next is, okay, say for example, for the American English, you say gray is a color. For the British English, gray is spelled with an E instead of A, and color is spelled as O-U with an O-U instead of O alone. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is the what I was telling earlier. So theater, okay, canceled with a double L, aging with the E, labor with the U, catalog with the UE, okay, realize with an S versus they, okay? So these are examples. So be consistent with the American and the British English. We Filipinos are using more often the American English. But if you want to use the British spelling, you just have to be consistent all throughout your narrative report. So I suggest you better use the American variants. Next is, okay, so the World Englishes, labasan na natin yan, ma'am. Actually, I cut that one in my earlier presentation. Okay, pruning the redundant. Avoid saying the same thing twice. So you say, when my cooperating teacher saw my lesson plan, she told and instructed me to repeat my lesson plan again one more time so that it would be improved for the better. So see, there are a lot of redundant expressions and there are a lot of redundant information presented here. So avoid that one. In our narrative report, be concise. So instead of saying this, we can say, let's move to the next one. Okay, saying, when my cooperating teacher saw my lesson plan, she instructed me to improve it. See, lesser words, but you meant the same. So it's always important that we have to be very cautious on the number of words that we use in our writing. Next is, Okay, a phrase that repeats itself, like true fact, 12 noon, I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, they are called pleonasm, and they do not add beauty in a technical paper like your narrative report. So, but if for creative reason and for emphasis, we can use it sparingly, but as much as possible, try to avoid them. So, examples of pleonasm that we could avoid in our writing are as follows. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here are those redundant phrases. Let's see. Beware of the following in your respective writing. Let's see, what are these? Okay, 12 midnight. Instead of saying 12 midnight, it's midnight, okay? Because it's either noon time, it's 12, it's noon, and it's midnight. So you just remove the word 12, the number 12, because midnight and noon refers to a specific time of the day. The noon is when we have our lunch, and the midnight and is at nighttime, okay? So that's the usual day of our time of our sleep. And instead of saying a total of 14 students, we may say instead of 14 students. Okay, what else? We could also say, instead of saying biography of her life, we could actually say biography. We also have here circle around. We just say circle. So these are examples. What else? So we just run fast. Okay, close proximity, we just say proximity. What else? We have here each and every. We could just say, instead of that, we could just say each. Then we also have, what else? End result, we could just say, it's either that's the end or that's the result. Okay, you just choose one, each either end or result. Next is exactly the same. You could just say the same. Then we also have free gift. It's just a gift, okay? What else? We also have here other examples. Repeat again. You can just say again or repeat, okay? Next is reducing clauses to phrases and phrases to single words. Be alert for clauses or phrases that can be paired to simpler, shorter constructions. The which clauses can often be shortened to a simple adjective. Be careful, however, not to lose some needed emphasis by over pruning the word. Okay, so let's see examples of this one. Look for phrases that you can omit in your writing, especially in your narrative. Okay, as a matter of fact, okay, that is not actually helpful in a narrative report. As a matter of fact, what else? As far as I'm concerned, okay, so we also have to avoid that in our writing. But of course, in the spoken context, diba, sometimes we benefit from all those phrases that we know, because sometimes they could be used as filler words, especially for still thinking, and we don't know yet how to respond to a prior inquiry to us. Then we just say, as a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, diba, you just try to collect all those words, and they sound good in the spoken discourse, but I think they have no place in the written discourse. So it's just possible we try to avoid them. Okay, what else? You also have here at the present time. We also have here because of the fact that, okay. Then by means of, you also have due to the fact that, all these things. What else? What I mean to say is, okay, the point I'm trying to make, they are good in spoken discourse because they are, as I say, your filler words while you are still thinking and you don't know, you're still organizing your thoughts. What are the next things that you would want to say? But at the end, in the written discourse, it's not, they have no place actually. Have here, we also have here, meron pa ba tayo, Ma'am Rev? Okay, so those are the things that you, in the event that, ayan, common sentence errors that we may have. Here are some examples. Ano yung mga yan? Tignan natin. There are run-on sentences, lacks of conciseness, error in word choice, misplaced modifier, faulty parallelism, error in preposition usage, dangling modifier, lacks unity, and error in the pronoun antecedent. I had a PowerPoint presentation. These words that are actually real exam right eventually. Okay, so again, thank you very much for attending this mentoring session. I hope that this helped you a lot in preparing your action research and narrative.